What's very significant and interesting about the Christian mystical tradition is that although we think of mysticism and contemplative experience as very personal, very interior, maybe even very individual, it always creates community. And we see that when we look back upon the mystical tradition in terms of the schools, certain mystical schools that flourish, grow up, and produce tremendous fruit, which can then, of course, be shared by the church as a whole. And one of the most important and enriching of these mystical schools is what we call the Cappadocian Fathers. And when I visited Cappadocia in modern-day Turkey last year, I was very attracted by the archaeological remains of the monastic movement, which mirrored that of the Egyptian desert at about the same time, the 4th century. And it brings home to you very, very powerfully both the seriousness of their spiritual journey, how intense, how dedicated they were to it, and also that it was both personal and solitary and communal at the same time. The Cappadocian Fathers, as we understand them, the three great figures, Gregory of Nyssa, Gregory of Nazianzen, and St. Basil, were friends. Gregory and Basil were brothers, and Nazianzen their friend, and the relationship between them was a very fertile one. They brought different qualities, different experiences, different personalities to their reflection upon experience, and this is what all theology is really about. In the Eastern Church, and of course these were Eastern Christians, it's always been understood, and still is, that essentially theology is about mysticism, and all theology is mystical theology. In the Western Church we became more abstract, more philosophical and so on, but in the Eastern Church the emphasis upon the relationship of experience to thought in Christian theology and Christian thinking has never been doubted. So what do they teach us? Well, first of all, they were all classically educated. Today that would mean that they would have had a knowledge of the essential sciences of their time. So I think today the Christian thinker, the Christian theologian needs to be grounded in as much of modern science and as much of modern sociology, the social sciences, as we can be. Of course, the bank of knowledge has been increased greatly since the 4th century. But what the Cappadocian Fathers bring to their reflection on the faith is a civilized, integrated form of knowledge. Again, they're not in any way fundamentalist or exclusivist, but they are highly focused, and they're focused upon both the mystery of the human and the mystery of the divine. We think of them today as having formed many of the major categories of orthodoxy, Christian orthodoxy. But at the time, they were pioneers, they were explorers. They were going further in their thought and in their understanding than people had gone before. And they were trying, as all Christians, thinkers need to do, they were trying to connect and relate the mystery of Christ to all forms of knowledge and experience.